this week we bring to you an interview with Bishop Dwayne Brock. Brock will elaborate on his views regarding the current condition of Erie's black community as presented in his Black Manifesto. We'll also speak with Sonya Arrington regarding the inspiration behind her book entitled Poetry from the Heart, Meaning from the Soul.
Okay, good afternoon. We have Sonya Arrington here, the author of Poetry from the Heart, Meaning from the Soul. Mrs. Arrington, can you tell us a little bit about the focus of your book?
The focus of my book is basically about my mother, who passed away from lupus in May of '06. And I was 11 years old when she was finally diagnosed with lupus. And at a young age, I had to learn responsibility along with my brother and sister at a very early age, because we had to help take care of my mother because sometimes she couldn't even get out of bed. So after she passed away in May of '06 for lupus, I had a lot of grief and that I needed to get out. So what I did was I started writing poetry, and I wrote the poem for her obituary. The name of the poem was A Mother's Love. And after I read it at her funeral, I got a standing ovation. And a lot of people came up to me afterwards and said, "You didn't write that." And I was like, "Yes, I did." So after that, I just started writing, and I've been writing ever since. And now I'm an author of Poetry from the Heart, Meaning for the Soul, which is dedicated to my mother, the late Loretta Tate Williams.
Okay. So prior to that, you had no experience writing poetry, writing, or as an author, or anything along that line?
None whatsoever. I never even attempted to pick up and write anything, you know. But I just had so much. My mom, we were very close to my mom. Me and my siblings, we were very close to her. And when we lost her, it was just like a piece of my life just flew out the window. So what I did with my grief, I just changed it in a different way, and I just started writing. And as I was writing, I said, "Wow, this sounds pretty good," if I have to say so myself. So then what I did was I started getting on the internet, looking for poetry, entering poetry contests. I won so many contests. People, they were sending me letters, and actually I'm in an anthology book. One of my poems, A Daughter's Love, is in an anthology book, a poetry book with like a couple hundred poems in it. So I said, well, I must be good at, you know, if they want my poems. And they even invited me to go to a poetry contest in Las Vegas. But I couldn't go because that's when I was already due for vacation. So I wasn't able to make that one. So hopefully next year they'll invite me back and I can go win the grand prize.
Okay. Now the issue at hand, or the motivation that you spoke about, was your mother's illness, which is lupus. Can you tell us a little bit about the disease?
Yes, lupus is an autoimmune disease. It primarily affects the minority community. And what I want to do is I want to raise awareness about lupus, educate people about lupus, especially the minorities, because it affects us more than it does other people. And what I've done was I've started a lupus support group here in Erie, and we meet every fourth Thursday at St. Vincent Health Center. If you need any help finding out the location, all you have to do is call St. Vincent, or you can even give me a call at 572-9567, and I can tell you a little more about it. And then also too, I've started a lupus fund in her name. And what I do, like the copies of my books that I sell, 20% of the royalties from my book goes into the lupus fund. And what the fund is set up to help people who can't afford their medication, or who may even not be able to afford a doctor. That's what the fund is to set up to help the minorities that can't afford the health care that they need.
Now the actual disease, the lupus itself, is that something that's just pertinent in this area, or is it a national situation?
It's national, it's worldwide. And, you know, even looking back on the our support group that I have started, we don't have a lot of minorities. And we actually, I really want to reach out to get a lot of minorities to come to the support group meetings, because it helps us all. You know, if I knew then what I know now, when my mother was alive and had lupus, we would have been going to the support group meetings. Because when you're going through whether it's lupus, cancer, any kind of disease, you need somebody there to be by your side that can help you, because you can't go through any of this all by yourself. And you know, my mom had lupus for 30-something years, and we've seen her go through a lot of we seen her go through a lot of different tough times, but by her having us, her children, her mother, her family, it made it a lot easier for her to fight, because she knew she had somebody to fight for. And basically the lupus support group is just everybody has lupus or any other autoimmune disease. You can come out, you sit, you listen to everybody's story. They might have a story, you may have the same thing that they have, and they can give you ideas on what they're doing to keep their illness under control. It may even give you some ideas, and you'll have somebody to share your story with, to feel the way that you feel. Everybody need that. You need somebody next to you.
Is there anything or some type of symptoms that someone might say, well, you know what, maybe I should get checked out for lupus? Or is it just something that comes upon you and you really don't know it until it happens?
Well, it's quite a few different symptoms. It could be loss of hair, swelling of the joints, butterfly rashes. It's just so many symptoms. I mean, you yourself, I know myself when I don't feel good. It may be a little ache. If I have this ache more than a couple days, then something's wrong. I need to go get checked out. I have rheumatoid arthritis myself, and it started with my joints and everything aching. It took me a while to go to the doctor to see what it was, because I guess I just didn't want them to say, well, you have lupus. But it got so bad, I said, no, I need to know. If I have lupus, then I need to get started on medication. But thank God it wasn't lupus. It's rheumatoid arthritis, which that's in the family with lupus, but it's easier to live with rheumatoid than it is lupus.
Any additional books you're thinking about coming out with?
Well, actually, I'm already on my second poetry book, but so hopefully I think probably about another year or so. I'm just taking my time doing this one. I'm really trying to get the first one, the Poetry from the Heart, Meaning for the Soul. I want it to be a top seller, because it's an awesome book, and it's about me and my family. Everything that I wrote in this book, it comes from my heart. Things that I've been through, gone through. It's just about me and my family. I have pictures about my family, a poem about my children, my grandmother. It's all about me, and it's not fictional. It's true. Everything in this book is true. This is just how I feel. So with probably in another year or so, I'm hoping to come out with book number 2, but I'm trying to get book number 1 off the ground. So hopefully everybody out there can give me some support. It's for a worthy cause, the lupus support group. And we just want to help people in Erie with lupus, especially the minorities, because we have it more so than anybody else.
Now, where can our viewers pick your book up at?
You can go to Barnes & Nobles, you can go online, you can go to the Erie bookstore, anywhere to sell books, you can get my book. You can even call me, because I have a bunch of them myself, at 572-9567. You can give me a call, and I can bring you a copy, and like I said, 20% of the royalties goes to the Lupus Foundation.
And what would you like to leave our viewership with today?
What I would like to leave is, we really, not just me, but any and everybody with lupus, we really need the community support. We just don't have enough people out there to support lupus. You hear a lot about cancer, heart disease, but lupus is a disease that needs a lot of attention to. And so I really want to raise awareness, educate people, the minorities, especially the minorities, on lupus, so we can live a longer and a happier life.
Mrs. Sonya Arrington, we thank you for your time today.
And thank you.